So let's start with some definitions so that everybody understands what we're talking about. First of all, neurotypical is what some people would consider, quote, normal, or a child who is, quote, non-disabled. I personally am of the opinion that all of us have some quirkiness that makes us diverse. So in my mind, every one of us has some amount of diversity, but out there in the real world, the terms that some people use are neurotypical to mean normal, normal functioning, normal capability, and neurodiverse, which means that there's some diversity within the brain that makes them think and function differently. So those are the broad definitions. And there certainly are families who have children who are neurotypical and children who are neurodiverse. And to them, I say, wow, you have a really rough road ahead of you because you have to figure out how to balance your attention in ways that are Herculean and require superhuman abilities. And the sad truth, I'm going to hold this thought, but I'm going to stick a little statistic out here. The sad truth is the statistics are that 88% of all marriages in which there is a child with disabilities end in divorce. And so I have worked with families who are in a two-parent home, and one of the very first things they say to me is, I don't want to be part of this statistic. I will listen to you. Tell us what we need to do. Because they want to stay a cohesive family. They want to continue to be a family unit. So one of the things that they do is make sure that they spend time with their neurotypical children and they spend time with their neurodiverse children. And that's not an easy balancing act because, as I've said, having a child with special needs is a full-time job in and of itself. And what I see sometimes is that families who have neurotypical and neurodiverse children, that the children who are neurotypical are often forced is too hard a word, encouraged, relied upon to be more mature or more responsible than they might be if they didn't have a neurodiverse sibling. And so I try to encourage people to monitor that. Are you asking too much of your neurotypical child? Are you allowing them to have a childhood? They need to be able to be a kid too. And I often hear parents say to the neurotypical child, well, you know that you'll need to take care of your sibling when we're not here. And so all of that language that we use when we have a child who has special needs, we need to be really aware of what that language is and how that language affects everybody in the family, because the child who is neurodiverse hears that too. And that brings a certain feeling to them. They may or may not be able to articulate the feeling that it causes in them. But I know in this family that I have talked about, the middle child, the one with autism, doesn't want older brother or younger sister to have to take care of him. And so he's working really hard to be as independent as he can because he doesn't want to be a burden to anybody. So I think that first, you make sure that you share your time as much as you can with all of the kids in the family, and that you're careful about the language that you use in front of any or all of the children, and that you're very aware of whether or not you are burdening the neurotypical children more than they need to be. Allow everybody to be a kid, because it's important. You only get to be a kid once.